The stars looked peaceful. Captain Elias sat quietly in the command chair of the Hopebringer, a human research vessel drifting near the edge of Zilari space. The mission was simple: scan for rare minerals and return home. There was no reason to expect danger, but space lies. "Captain, I'm getting a strange signal," said Lieutenant Rhea, the comms officer. Her voice was calm, but her hands shook slightly. Elias leaned forward. "What kind of signal?" It's scrambled. I can't decode it, but it's coming from our border. Fast, very fast." Before Elias could respond, the lights flickered. A piercing alarm echoed across the bridge. "Multiple warp signatures incoming," shouted Nav Officer Bren. "They're not human." Elias stood. "Shields up. Get us out of here now." Too late. Out of the darkness, 3 alien warships decloaked. Black, spiked, silent, Zilari design. They opened fire without a warning. Lasers sliced through the Hopebringer's shields like paper. The ship trembled. Explosions rocked the sides. Crew members were thrown from their seats. "We're losing life support on decks 3 through 7, screamed the engineering officer. "Emergency. Broadcast now," Elias barked. "Send everything to Terran Command." Lieutenant Rhea hit the red switch. A short transmission was sent before the antenna was blown apart. A single message, barely 3 seconds long. "We were attacked, Zilari. No survivors." Then the screen went black. 3 days later, Terran High Command, Earth Orbit Admiral Kara Lynn, stood in silence. The last message from Hopebringer was playing on repeat. "We were attacked. Zilari. No survivors." She clenched her fist. "They didn't even declare war. They just struck." The other admirals, generals, and intelligence officers sat around the table. No one spoke for a moment. "They knew it was a civilian ship," said one voice quietly. "It was clearly marked." "They wanted to see if we'd respond," said Admiral Lynn. "They wanted to test us." "Well," she said coldly, "let's show them the answer." She stood and walked toward the wall console, her palm pressed against a black panel hidden behind protective glass. A red light blinked. "Authorization, Admiral Kara Lynn. Protocol." "Black, unlock." Gasps filled the room. "Ma'am, that's a war protocol. It hasn't been used in over 60 years. Kara's voice was calm. "It's time. The galaxy must remember why you don't hurt humans." Meanwhile, on a news channel broadcast across the galaxy, a young alien reporter looked into the camera with a serious face. "The human ship Hopebringer was destroyed 3 days ago in Zilari space. The Zilari Empire denies involvement, but evidence suggests otherwise. No survivors. No official war has been declared." She paused as new footage appeared behind her. "But sources confirm the human fleet has already begun moving. The Terran dreadnought ships not seen in over half a century have launched from Mars and Titan." She added, "Every major government is watching. Everyone knows what happens when you push the humans too far." Her voice became a whisper. "They don't just fight back. They erase threats." In deep space, the silence before the storm within the cold dark of Sector V7, an old, hidden human fleet stirred. Massive warships, silent for decades, came online. Each one bigger than a city, coated in black armor. Engines that could bend space.ai voices whispered across the void. Awakening. Orders received. Preparing for justice. One by one, human war machines turned toward Zilari space, back on Earth. A voice for the lost in a quiet room. Maya, a young girl who lost both her parents on the Hopebringer, spoke into a small recorder. "I don't want revenge," she said with tears in her eyes. "I just want them to know we remember, and we're coming." Final scene. Message across the galaxy. A new broadcast began from Earth. Sent to every planet and station across the stars. It was only one sentence, repeated in every known language. If you hurt one of us, you answer to all of us. Asterisk, the Zilari Empire had a choice. They could admit the attack. They could apologize. They could stop everything before it was too late, but they didn't. Instead, they laughed. In the grand hall of the Zilari Senate, voices of pride echoed like thunder. They won't fight us, one general said. Humans are soft, weak, only talk big. Emperor Vask, sitting on his golden throne, nodded slowly. Then we'll strike again. This time, no messages. No survivors. The command was given. Kepler-9 colony, a peaceful world. Until it was a human farming colony. No military base. No warships. Just people. Children played under tall blue trees. Farmers worked with drones in golden fields. Everyone believed Earth would protect them. Then came the flash. A beam of plasma from orbit struck the colony center. Buildings vanished in fire. Screams filled the air. Smoke covered the skies. Over 30,000 people died in just 11 minutes, but someone survived. Girl only 10 years old ran through the burning. Ruins, Maya, the same girl who spoke after her parents died on the Hopebringer. She held her little brother in her arms, covered in ash. A camera drone, half broken, floated nearby. She looked at it, eyes full of rage. They killed us again, she said, voice shaking. They don't care. She stared directly into the lens. I remember. That recording would break the galaxy. In half, Terran High Command, Immediate Response Admiral Kara Lin, watched Maya's video in silence. She didn't blink. Neither did the thousands of people watching across Earth. An officer stepped forward. Orders, ma'am? Kara didn't hesitate. Activate Protocol Black Phase 2. Launch Operation Firewake. She turned to the screen showing the Zilari system. Every Terran ship within 50 light years. Full speed to Kepler-9. Find who did this. Don't just destroy them. Make sure the stars remember what happens when you harm a human. Terran space. The arrival 12 Terran battleships exited warp space near the ruins of Kepler-9. They didn't send warnings. They didn't wait. Satellites detected 4 Zilari destroyers above the dead colony. They were laughing. Celebrating. One of them opened comms, mocking. Come for revenge, Terrans? We'll give you more bodies to cry over. Captain Darius, aboard the TSV Vengeance, replied calmly. You're already dead. You just haven't realized it yet. And then the sky burned. The first retaliation begins. The human ships moved with terrifying speed. Zilari destroyers were cut apart in seconds. Human weapons were advanced. Too advanced. Kinetic railguns pierced hulls like paper. EMP pulses shut down every Zilari system. AI drones invaded enemy ships and erased command codes. Within 3 minutes, the entire Zilari fleet in the system was gone. No prisoners. No escape. Only one drone remained, floating silently over the wreckage. It broadcast one message on every frequency. You were warned. Across the galaxy, fear spreads. News channels exploded. Terran forces strike back. Kepler-9 massacre avenged in record time. Aliens begin evacuating near-human. Borders. Some species supported humanity. Others feared them. But all agreed on one thing. You don't attack humans. Not anymore. Zilari Council, the Craxapir Emperor Vask, slammed his hand on the throne. How did they find us so fast? A nervous officer whispered. They have listening posts. Maybe spies. Their tech is beyond what we expected. The Emperor shouted, Then send more fleets. We'll crush them. But the room was quiet. His generals no longer looked proud. They looked scared. Final scene. A new signal in the silence. Of deep space, a signal reached Earth from a hidden human fleet. The AI commander, Athena, spoke calmly. The enemy didn't listen. Phase 3 unlocked. Target, Zilari Forward Military Worlds. Hook, the night the stars went Darksroth Prime, was a fortress world, built with steel mountains, defense towers, and orbiting cannons. It was the pride of the Zilari Empire. They called it the world no one could touch. But that night, no one could explain what happened at 2:16 Galactic time. Every satellite near Zeroth Prime stopped working. Every camera went black. Every ship orbiting the planet vanished from radar. No signals. No alerts. No screams, only silence and 6 minutes. Later, the world was gone. 12 hours earlier, inside the human warfleet, Captain Darius stood aboard the TSV Eclipse, watching Zeroth Prime on the screen. "This is the source of the Kepler strike," he said coldly. "This is where the command came from." The crew remained silent. They weren't here for battle. They were here for judgment. "Operation Starfall is approved," confirmed the AI Athena. "All systems ready." "Execute," Darius ordered. The weapon they never expected from the deep black of space. A new kind of weapon activated. Not bombs. Not lasers. A gravity knife. A massive device that bent space around the planet. It pulled the sky downward. It crushed air, metal, bone. The towers of Zeroth Prime folded like paper. Ships fell out of the sky. Defense systems tried to fire, but their bullets froze in mid-air. In just over 6 minutes, the entire planet became a silent tomb. On other worlds, the Galactic Council received a single visual. A burned symbol scorched into the ground of Zeroth Prime. A human handprint, with a red line through it. Under it, 2 words, "We remember." The room of ambassadors fell into silence. Even the insectoid Eldari, who never feared anything, trembled. One ambassador asked in a broken voice, Did the humans just erase a planet?" The reply, "No, they erased a message." "Zilari panic," begins the Zilari Emperor, watched the footage in horror. He couldn't speak. His generals stared at him, silent, confused, afraid. "How?" The Emperor whispered. "They didn't even land. No warning, no demand." A guard dropped his weapon and fled. Even loyalists were afraid. The galaxy responds many alien species who once hated humanity now sent emergency calls. "We were never part of this. We support peace. Please don't see us as enemies." But Earth gave no reply. Humanity had gone silent again. And that silence was worse than any threat. The child who spoke again Maya now in a healing center on Earth was asked by a reporter, "Do you think the war is over now?" She looked into the camera, just like before. Her voice was soft, calm. "No, the first world just fell, but they heard us twice. So they still don't understand." Scene. A message from the human AI fleet. Athena broadcast a new message, sent. In every known alien language, "This is not destruction. This is memory. You hurt one of us. We will hurt no more. We will remove the hand that struck. Next target. The source." The message ended with coordinates. Everyone knew where it pointed. Zilari Prime Command Center. The THRONEW. ORLD. Final shot. Zilari border. Terran fleet incoming. Thousands of red lights appeared in Zilari space. Each one a Terran battleship. Each one silent. Each one coming closer. No messages. No mercy. Just justice. Hook. A secret. Council meets in Fear Far, above the gas planet of Jeltra. In a hidden station called the Eye, 6 powerful alien leaders gathered. They were from old empires. Crowd ones. Rulers of the stars. And they were afraid. The humans are moving faster than light. said Counselor Drex of the Zoltron. "They're not sending diplomats." "No demands. No chances," added Queen Relna of the Miari, the Silence in. The chamber was heavy, until one voice said what all feared. "We must stop them now, or they will stop all of us." Plot twist. A secret plan to betray Earth the Council. Activated protocol, iron cage, and ancient law. Under this plan, 11 species would unite their fleets, trap the human armada near a black hole system, and wipe them out. "We'll offer peace, then strike from behind," Drex sneered. "It worked on the Vonik 500 years ago," said another. "It will work now." But what none of them knew, the humans had already heard everything seen. Terran intelligence was listening all along in a dark command room deep beneath Mars. Agent Kira, a human spy born on an alien world removed. Her mask. "Council plans confirmed," she said calmly. "They will fake peace talks, then attack." Admiral Kara Lynn stood at the screen. "Good," she replied. "Let them try." She pressed a button marked Shadow Fleet Release. Scene. The peace talks begin. The Council invited a human delegation to the I Station. Commander Yalin Frost arrived alone and armed. Calm, respectful. "Let's talk peace," said Queen Relna, smiling. But Yalin looked around slowly, then chuckled. "Peace? You're 2 hours too late." "What do you mean?" asked DREX. Suddenly, the station shook. Sirens blared. Lights went red. Every screen lit up with the same human AI message. "This is not a trap. This is justice. You lied, so now we end the lie." Scene. Operation Mirrorfall activated as the Council ships prepared to ambush the human fleet near the black hole. They found nothing. No human ships. Just themselves. Alone. Then, one by one, their systems went offline. Their warships were already infected. Their AI cores already replaced. Their weapons locked. Human cyber warriors had turned their trap against them. And then the message came. "You tried to cage us. Now face what can't be caged." Dozens of hidden human warships decloaked. No lights, no warnings. Just action. The ambush collapsed. All Council ships were destroyed in under 9 minutes. Scene. The galaxy watches in horror footage of the failed trap spread across every planet. The message was clear. You can't outsmart Earth. You can't lie to them. You can't trick Deathworlders. Scene. Back on Earth, young Maya stood beside Admiral Kara Lynn as the Council's betrayal played on the news. "Do they understand now?" Maya asked. The Admiral looked at her. "No," she said. "But they will." Scene. Zelari throne world prepares. For last stand back on Zelari Prime, Emperor Vask stood on the palace balcony, watching the sky. Flashes of red appeared thousands. Terran ships had arrived, but they didn't fire. They waited. Suddenly, every screen across the planet changed. The face of Commander Yalin appeared. His voice was calm. "No anger, no threats. You broke the pact. You killed the innocent. Now we break the silence." Final scene. A quiet countdown begins on every world once loyal to the Zelari and Council. People turned their heads to the sky. Waiting. Because when humans go quiet, it means the storm is coming. Asterisk. Hook. The Zelari flee to ancient strongholds. The Zelari knew Earth would come. So they ran. Not to the stars, but to the oldest fortresses in their empire. The Iron Moons, the ice vaults of Draven, the shielded skies of Vather. Places thought to be impossible to reach. Each one hidden, cloaked, protected by thousands of years of defense tech. They believed they could hide there for decades. They believed humans would never find them. They were wrong. Scene. The first safe zone falls. In silence, the fortress on Vather was deep inside a frozen world. Powerful shield domes covered the surface. Nothing could break through, not even a fleet. But one morning, the dome simply shut down. Every generator fried. Every backup went dark. No bombs. No bullets. Just cold silence. And then the sky above opened. A Terran stealth ship hovered silently, glowing with eerie red lines. It dropped nothing. Instead, every Zelari device played a message. There is no safe place. There is only the price. Scene: the other fortresses collapse in the following 48 hours. Draven vaults. Oxygen vanished. No air. No fight. Iron moons. Gravity flipped. Entire buildings crumbled from inside. Zerith mines. Doors sealed. Lights went off. Trapped for good. Humanity didn't just destroy. They unbuilt things. They erased hiding places, not people. They didn't bomb civilians. They didn't torch cities. They just removed the tools the Zelari needed to resist. Every system. Every control. Gone. Scene: a broadcast from the Void Inn. The dead center of Zelari territory, a mysterious black sphere appeared. No one knew how it got there. Then, a message. This is not revenge. This is not war. This is humanity's answer to betrayal. The message ended with 4 words burned into the screen. You should have listened. Scene: other civilizations react. Leaders from other species held emergency talks. We need to speak to Earth, said one. Offer surrender? Asked another. Offer alliance, replied a third. Before we're next. Even species that once laughed at humans now sent tribute, peace treaties, technology. They didn't want to fight. They just wanted to be left alone, because now the galaxy understood. You don't defeat humans. You survive them, if you're lucky. Scene: inside a human war council. Admiral Kara Lynn, Commander Yalin, and Agent Kira gathered in silence. Zelari have no more strongholds, said Kira. They're down to their throne worlds, said Yalin. Then, it's time, said Lynn. We're not destroying them. We're finishing what they started. The plan: a single strike to remove the leaders. No mass killings. No bombing cities. Just surgical justice. Scene: Maya watches the galaxy shift on Earth. Maya sat in a park, watching the news on a HOLO- screen. She wasn't smiling. A reporter asked her, "Do you think this is peace?" She looked up, her eyes calm, her voice soft. "No," she said. "This is the part where they finally hear us." Final scene: the sky above Zelari Prime. 1,000 Terran ships circled the Zelari homeworld. They didn't fire. They didn't speak. They just waited. Because the final step wasn't about weapons. It was about memory. And the last lesson was about to begin. Hook, a world on its Nisalari Prime, the throne world of the Empire, once shined like a crown, jewel in the stars. Now it sat in darkness. Cities had power, but no signals worked. Ships floated above, but couldn't move. Citizens gathered in streets, staring up at the sky where thousands of Terran warships loomed. In perfect, silent formation. Not a single shot fired. Not a single voice spoke. The silence crushed harder than any weapon. Scene: inside the throne room. Emperor Vask stood in armor, sword at his side, trembling. They're waiting for something. He whispered. His advisors didn't respond. They were already pulling off their badges. One dropped to his knees and began praying not to the Zelari gods, but to Earth for forgiveness. They aren't here to rule us, someone muttered. They're here to show us what we became. Scene: Earth's message finally arrives at exactly midnight by Earth time. Every screen across Zelari Prime lit up. Every tower, every ship, every handheld device. One face appeared. Maya, now in uniform, standing beside Admiral Carolyn. Her voice was quiet, calm, cold. You called. U.S. animals. You called us emotional, weak, and you killed us twice. She paused. You had a chance to stop. You didn't. The next words echoed across space. This is not destruction. This is education. And class begins now. Scene. The silence. Begins within seconds. All technology on Zelari Prime shut down. Ships powered off. Weapons melted inside their cases. AI systems deleted themselves. City lights blinked, then faded. Hospitals, food systems, water still worked. Humans didn't want death. They wanted remembrance. The Zelari were alive, but powerless. And they knew this was how humans chose to show mercy. Scene: a young Zelari girl looks to the sky on a rooftop. A small Zelari girl asked her father, "Why? Didn't they destroy us?" He stared at the human ships, still glowing above them. "Because we destroyed ourselves," he said. Scene: alien civilizations react with awe on Miari Prime. An artist painted the Terran ships as guardians, not conquerors. On Geltra, alien students read human history like holy texts. On neutral planets, banners were hung. Respect. Remember. Do not cross Earth. One phrase spread through space like wildfire. They could have ended us. Instead, they ended what made us monsters. Scene: in the human war room, Commander Jalin stood beside Admiral Lin. "No retaliation from the Zelari," he reported. "No military left, no leaders, no threats." Lin nodded. "Then they finally heard us." She looked out at the stars. "And the galaxy finally understands." Scene: Maya's final message later that night. Maya stood alone. A camera. Drone floated nearby. She spoke to the galaxy one last time. "We never wanted war. We never wanted to lead. We just wanted to be left in peace." She paused and looked directly at the camera. "But if you hurt us again, we will teach you again." She reached out, pressed a button, and ended the transmission. Final scene. The galaxy holds its breath across thousands of worlds. Screens went dark. The message had ended, but the silence remained. And in that silence, the galaxy learned fear, respect, and memory that no one dared attack humans. Again, because the day silence fell was the day the galaxy changed forever. Asterisk. Hook. A child asks a simple question on the green moon of Alora. In a school filled with younglings of many species, a child raised her hand. "Teacher, why don't we fight humans anymore?" The room went silent. The teacher, an old Miari, who once served in the Council's army, slowly sat down. She looked out the window where a human peacekeeping ship drifted. Quietly above. Her voice was low. "Honest, because we did. Once, and now we remember." Scene. The story spreads across the galaxy. Stories of the Terran judgment were passed like sacred history. They weren't written in anger. They weren't told to scare. They were shared. To teach. On mining colonies, humans were called the protectors of silence. On trade worlds, children played a game called Remember Maya, where one child stands alone and others learn to listen. On war planets, even the most brutal generals held one law sacred: never hurt a human. Not because they feared Earth, but because they respected what followed when Earth was disrespected. Scene. The rebirth of the Zelari years had passed. The Zelari Empire was no more. But the Zelari people remained. Their cities ran on clean energy now. Their military was gone by choice. They built schools instead of ships. And every building had a single sign on the front wall. We broke the pact. Earth did not. Scene. A statue on Earth in New Geneva, the capital of the Terran Union, stood a statue. It was simple. A young girl in learned clothes, holding a broken data tablet. The plaque read, "Maya Everin, voice of the lost." She did not seek war. She reminded, Use why we fight for peace. Children from all worlds visited this place, and not one walked away without silence in their steps. Scene: inside the Terran Assembly, Admiral Kara Lin, now old, sat beside Maya, now a grown woman, an ambassador of peace. Message arrived from a distant system. Another species had been attacked by pirates. They didn't ask for soldiers. They asked for something else. Can the humans teach us how to remember like you do? Maya smiled. Yes, she whispered. That's what we're here for now. Scene: final galactic broadcast day. Peaceful message was sent to all corners of the galaxy. No threats, no warnings, no fire. Just a soft voice, Maya's voice. We don't want to lead. We don't want to rule. But if you ever raise your hand to the innocent again, remember the silence. Remember what came after. Scene: back to the classroom. The Miari teacher finished her answer to the child's question. Another student asked, but are humans still dangerous? She nodded slowly. Yes, but they choose not to be. And that is what made them terrifying. And beautiful. Final lines. The memory that changed the stars. No empire ruled now. No council sat on high. But Earth stood strong. Not in dominance, but in the weight of what it refused to forget. The galaxy would always remember. Everyone knows, hurt a human, expect annihilation. And even more than that, hurt a human, and the entire galaxy will feel what silence truly means. The end.